Well, good morning again, everyone. If I can ask you to find your seats, please, so we can get started. This is my favorite part of the day when I start to call people out by name to get people's attention. Although we've done things like quiet coyote. My one colleague likes the one where you just start shh. That one works. Wow. That worked impressive. Oh my goodness, it is so wonderful to see all of you this morning for an incredible conversation with our new mayor. Lots to jump into, so thank you for sharing time and space with us today for the inaugural State of the City Address for Mayor Lisa Brown. For those I don't know, I'm Alicia Benson. I'm the CEO of Greater Spokane Incorporated, and we have had the long-standing opportunity to be your host of this conversation every year. So thank you again for being here with us today. I do want to let folks know as we get started that there are a number of cameras in the back. Today's program is being recorded, so I want you to be aware of that, and we will be able to share it with folks that aren't here, or if you wanted to go back and look at parts of it here in the days ahead. So as we jump in, again, we're looking forward to a great conversation and learning today with our new mayor, looking at the projects and initiatives that continue to create a vibrant community where businesses thrive here in the Spokane region. I want to thank all of you as our member partners and our organization partners for trusting us to tackle business challenges. Your investment and involvement in the work that we do, the support that you provide, is truly what helps us to drive the economy of this region and the prosperity that we're all desiring. So thank you again for being here. You'll probably hear about this a little bit, but one of the things that we talk about a lot is we talk about ideas and projects, but also what are some of those examples of things that are going on. And you've probably seen this in the headlines. Hopefully, I'm thrilled. I was just talking with my counterpart from the Coeur d'Alene EDC, Jenny, over here, about some of the incredible work around the Tech Hub, or the Advanced Aerospace Manufacturing Materials Center. This incredible work is being led by Gonzaga University and Lakeside Company, thinking about how do we grow the aerospace industry here in our region? How do we repurpose the Triumph facility out in the West Plains? You may have seen earlier this month that Mayor Brown signed an executive order supporting this newly designated tech hub for our region that allows us to be a rapid response team to fast-track projects connected to the economic advancement for Spokane. These are just examples where partners are coming together to collaborate, identify synergies, and grow not just one city, but an entire region as we think about the entire inland Northwest. So just a really exciting example when we think about catalytic economic development in our region and the partnership that it takes to sustain it. And speaking of partnership, I want to thank the City of Spokane and Mayor Lisa Brown and her entire team that is here today. They have had a busy first 100+ days, and we're looking forward to diving into that in just a few minutes. So as we begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge where we're meeting today, and I'd like to invite my colleague, the Director of Marketing and Communications for GSI, Yolanda Pagodowin, up for the land acknowledgement.
Well, good morning. I'm Yolanda Pagodowin. I'm of Lummi Nation, and I'm also a descendant of Yakima, Nez Perce, Colville, Spokane, Oglala Sioux tribes. And as I stand here before you today, I'm very honored to acknowledge that the Greater Spokane Incorporated office and our various locations for convening for business and events are located on traditional and sacred homelands of the Spokane tribe. We also acknowledge that the Spokane region we serve spreads across the traditional and sacred homelands of the Confederated Tribes of Colville, Kalispel Tribe, and the Nez Perce Tribe. These lands hold indigenous cultural DNA, and we are honored and grateful to be here on traditional lands. We give thanks and respect to the legacy of the original peoples, tribal leaders, elders, and their descendants. We pledge to honor their stewardship and values. On behalf of Greater Spokane Incorporated, our staff, the board, and our member partners, Haishka. And next, I want to invite up Dominique and the Salish School of Spokane, the 5th and 7th graders. They're gonna perform for us 2 songs with their hand drums. So everyone, Salish School.
Why isquis sahamanat kinsuchmat maimos gachet in sarchinsen mat mayatin. Tali kuchalimt kuch ulus apanatisılha mikiknia menti ilami hum brown or kulam asil hi synquinims hi chiiti synquinim isquis kikini hi sasils seal. Hi, my name is Dominique Wiley Camacho. I'm a teacher at Sailor School of Spokane. We're really excited to be here today and to listen to Mayor Brown speak. We're very grateful to just be here with you all. Also, we're going to sing 2 songs. The first is called the Salmon Song. Please watch the drums because there's some movement there that just kind of represents the salmon. And then our second song will be Siil, which is a song for Salish people to represent our different indigenous groups of this area. Thank you.
Turkey, hoy,
about one more round of applause for Dominique and the Salish School students? That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. Next, as we jump in, they're going to start to serve lunch, so don't worry, you won't go hungry. So they'll be coming around with that. As we jump in, I now want to take an opportunity to recognize our sponsors that make events like this possible. Our presenting sponsor, Numerica Credit Union, thank you. Our executive sponsor, Idaho Central Credit Union, thank you. Our major sponsor, Providence Healthcare, thank you. Our supporting sponsor, Washington State University Health Sciences Spokane, and our event sponsors, Graham Construction and Whitworth University, thank you. And our official airline sponsor, Southwest Airlines. Thank you, Southwest Airlines. It's now my pleasure to welcome up to the podium Travis Simpson, who's Numerica's Chief Retail and Digital Officer, to welcome a few words.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Travis Simpson, Numerica's Chief Retail and Digital Officer. Numerica is proud to sponsor today's event because we believe in Spokane and its businesses. In fact, I've overheard the phrase, "Believe Spokane," a few times this past year. That's because my office is just down the hall from our CEO, Carla Cicero, our president and GSI's 2023 board chair, and Believe Spokane's co-chair. At Numerica, we're excited to participate in GSI's 5-year Believe in Spokane initiative to attract talented leaders and to welcome more diverse perspectives and, of course, grow our businesses. We use the same strategic mindset at Numerica to enhance lives, to fulfill dreams, and to build our community. Numerica continues to search for ways to increase access to affordable homeownership. Examples of this effort include our partnership with the City of Spokane, where we're supporting dozens of first-time down payment assistance, and through our collaboration with our nonprofit group, Village Co-Housing Works, to fund specialized manufactured home loans, and through our continued support for Habitat for Humanity. At Numerica, we're proud to invest in brighter futures and stronger communities. I'd like to play a video to celebrate our commitment to enhancing lives, building dreams, and supporting our community. Thank you, GSI, for bringing us together today, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Travis, and thank you, Numerica Credit Union. I'm Gary. I'm the Economic Development Guy for Greater Spokane.
Lisa Poplawski-Lewis, Vice President of Development and Partnership. Thanks for being here today.
So, Lisa, it's been a long time since we've been up here. So folks know we kind of do the airline giveaway. And after we do this, as I go out to the crowd, people are like, Gary, you and Lisa are awesome. Actually, they go, you know what? Lisa is awesome. Gary, you're okay. But we were told people really, really miss us.
I don't know if anyone's really saying that they really miss us. I think they miss the Southwest E-Pass that they get, which is a round-trip ticket for
Well,
two.
let's ask. So how many people miss Lisa and Gary? Round of applause. Decent. How many people miss the Southwest Airlines ticket giveaway? Oh, I feel, thank you. I feel like that was roughly equal.
I feel like we're good.
Yes.
We don't need to give out the passes.
Yeah, folks okay with, no, we should do that.
Okay.
Let's give out the pass. So, we are Southwest Airlines. We're thankful that they're our airline sponsor, and we are going to do you have the winner?
I know who the winner is, and I'm so excited because everyone who registered's name was put into the drawing, and sometimes the person doesn't show up, but I know this person is here because I gave them when they walked in.
Oh.
So the winner is...
Okay, folks, when we're doing this, everybody on the table.
And the winner is Andrea Williams, The Wood Shop.
All right.
Yay! Come on up, Andrea. We'll take a quick picture. Yay! Don't be jealous. Give her a round of applause. Thank you.
That could be you, next event. That's the most enthusiasm I've had for a winner, though, in a while. That's amazing. Congratulations, Andrea. And let's thank Lisa and Gary. We were having a conversation earlier. It's hard to be the person who's supposed to come on stage and find the comedic tone, so they do it over and over again. So a big thank you to Lisa and Gary for that. So a couple more recognitions we want to make, and then we are going to get to the main event. I want to thank our regional visionaries for their ongoing and consistent investment in both GSI and the work that happens throughout the region. So if you'll take a minute to join me in thanking them. Avista, BECU, Kohl's Company, Idaho Central Credit Union, Multi-Care Health System, Numerica Credit Union, Pearson Packaging Systems, Providence Healthcare, Spokane County, STCU, and Washington Trust Bank. Please join me in a big thank you to them. I'd also like to recognize the elected officials that are in attendance today, and I will not be doing it by name because that is a dangerous, dangerous game. But what I want to do, I know we have a number of local elected officials here from our cities across the region, our county commissioners, a few of our state representatives. So if you are an elected leader in our region, if you'll please stand up so that we can recognize you and thank you for the service that you provide. Stand up, don't be shy. Thank you. And lastly, I'd like to thank we have a number of our board members for Greater Spokane Incorporated, our economic development and community partners who are in the room with us today. If you'll stand up so we can recognize and thank you for your leadership on behalf of the region. Don't be shy. This is what I know you all love. I love to make people stand up. The reason why is that for all of the folks that have just stood up in the next couple of times, it takes all of your leadership and so many others to be able to power our region, our community forward. And your partnership is really, really essential to the work that we do. So thank you for doing all of that on top of much of your day-to-day and the organizations and the work that you do. And so now it gives me great honor to introduce Mayor Lisa Brown. Lisa's been involved with Spokane since 1980 when she became the Associate Professor of Economics at Eastern Washington University. She has since been involved in community organizations advocating for working families, petitioning for dental benefits for low-income people, marching in the first Spokane Pride Parade, and organizing the first Take Back the Night rally in Spokane to bring awareness to victims of domestic violence. In addition to her academic career, Lisa has been a citizen legislator for 20 years, representing the 3rd Legislative District, first in the State House of Representatives and then in the State Senate. She was elected by her peers as the Senate Minority Leader in 2002, and in 2005 became the first Democratic woman in state history to hold the position of Senate Majority Leader. Lisa also served as the Chancellor of Washington State University's Spokane Health Sciences campus and led the development of WSU's rapidly growing Center for Health Sciences Education and Research. Her collaboration with community partners led to the establishment of the Elson S. Floyd College of Medicine, expanding healthcare where it's needed most while providing transformative economic development for Spokane. And most recently, Lisa served as the director of the Washington State Department of Commerce, where under her leadership, the Commerce developed the Small Business Resiliency Network, supported broadband expansion to underserved communities, and dramatically expanded investments into affordable housing development. She also spearheaded the state business recruitment and economic development initiatives and worked to rebuild supply chains disrupted by the pandemic. And she is now our newly elected mayor of Spokane, the 5th woman to ever hold the office. So please join me in welcoming Mayor Lisa Brown.
President Lyndon Johnson said, "When the burdens of the presidency seem unusually heavy, I always remind myself it could be worse. I could be a mayor." He had a point. On any given day, people are likely to express to me adamant and polar opposite views on everything from how to address homelessness to how to water golf courses. But I am not deterred by people having different points of view. At 100 days in, I want you to know I am honored and energized to have this job because I love this city and all the people in it are worth it. Our location today is auspicious, near the Spokane River and Falls. It's the power of the river to sustain life and its natural beauty that are the reasons why this has been a gathering place since the original human inhabitants of the region fished and traded here today, as our drummers reminded us. I'm happy that the descendants of those peoples and other Native nations will be so involved in the Expo 74 50th anniversary celebration, 9 weeks, that kicks off this Saturday. Let me just take a moment to go off script, however, and say that though I will be talking about our little 60 square mile place on the planet, that we are part of the rest of the world as well. I'm grateful to all the partners from other local governments who are here, and I think it's important that we acknowledge that there are places in the world today where war and violence are taking people's lives. And from my vantage point, I think of that at this stage of my life, what it would be like, how awful it would be to be a parent or grandparent trying to safeguard your family in situations like people are facing. So please take a moment and just share a moment of silence, your thoughts or your prayers for people who are experiencing those things in our world today. Expo 74 was a defining moment in our city's history. We came together across party lines. We relocated railroad tracks. Having just spoken to Burlington Northern, I know how challenging that was. We built a world-class city in the middle of our city. And we ultimately attracted 5 million visitors as the smallest city in the world to hold a World's Fair. Expo is proof that when we come together in Spokane, we can do transformative things. For more proof, consider the University District just a ways down. I was there when people said we would lose it all by going for a medical school headquartered here. But again, working with both political parties across the Cascade Divide, even across the Husky-Cougar Divide, we now have higher education, health professional education offerings that are unmatched by any city our size. World-class research on sleep and addiction is happening right down the Centennial Trail, and it's spinning off companies, creating jobs, and coming up with healthcare innovations that make people's lives better. I just want to thank all the educators from preschool to graduate school and medical school, all the educators and all the institutions of higher education in our region. Gonzaga, Whitworth, WSU, UW, the community colleges, Eastern, they are all contributing to a great future for the young people that we saw today. Thank you all. Now, I use those two examples because we need to come together again and take on community safety, lack of affordable housing, and the scourge of fentanyl. And I believe we can. And I think it's not even a question, should we do it, but more of an active debate, how will we do it? And I want to give you some ideas on that. But first, I want to start by acknowledging the people who really do the hard work in the organization I have the privilege to lead. And they are doing it in a city that is larger than many people realize. The city of Spokane is now home to over 230,000 people. And the number of people who serve this population as city employees, providing water, wastewater, protecting the river from stormwater, garbage pickup, code enforcement, streets, bridges, and other infrastructure, planning, neighborhood services, parks, libraries, police, fire, and support staff, all of that is done by less than 1% of our population. The volume of what they accomplish is beyond what most people realize. Our 311 team has already handled 41,000 calls this year. Our Spokane Streets team is maintaining 2,200 lane miles. So when you wonder about how long it takes for an all-city snowplow to get done, remember that that's the equivalent of driving from Spokane to Denver and back. I just went on a ride along with Kay, one of our most experienced team members in the waste disposal department. She started out when they were dumping the cans by hand, and now she has a very sophisticated, large piece of equipment that she maneuvers through our streets. In total, she has herself disposed of over 1 million cans of waste. And in total, those crews serve over 73,000 residential customers every week and pick up nearly 4 million pounds of our garbage. I've also gone on a ride along with a police officer as she was responding to a domestic violence incident and fielding several other calls at once. The Spokane Police Department has received over 20,000 911 calls already this year. And I want to just take a moment to thank Chief Lundgren, who has taken on ably the interim role. The chief and I are discussing not just whether we do law enforcement, but how we do law enforcement. Everything from staffing models to training that officers need. And we share a frustration with the narrative that we hear sometimes that somehow the laws are not being enforced. And I just want you to know that the officers take an oath to enforce the law and put their lives on the line. And in addition to those 20,000 911 calls they received, They initiated over 14,000 other calls, and there were 33,000 crime check calls. So that's 74,000 calls this year already, and arrests are 10% up this year already. In addition to that, I spent a very challenging and physically exhaustive day as a Spokane firefighter in training. And I just want to say that that deepened my appreciation for the significance of what those firefighters do and the significance of the teamwork of the people that work together and safeguard each other's lives. That department has responded to over 18,000 calls this year. People work for our city 24/7, 365 days a year. Will you please join me in thanking our Spokane City employees? I'd also like to thank the City Council and my leadership team members, most of whom are here today. And this is a mix of experienced and new city leaders. I'm not going to introduce them all, but just to call out, I'm sure they won't want me to do this, but I am anyway. City Attorney Mike Piccolo and Director of Public Works Marlene Feist collectively have over 60 years of service to the city. And when I pointed out to Mike that we go way back because he testified in favor of an affordable housing bill I sponsored in the legislature in the early 1990s, he said, no, we go further back. I took your economics class at Eastern. I never asked him what grade he got, but as city attorney, he gets an A from me. In addition to these experienced leaders, we have others who have joined my cabinet, and I am very proud of them as well. And I just want to tell you that there's not a cynic in this bunch. Well, maybe Adam. But beyond Adam, there's not a cynic in this bunch. These are folks that really come to work every day ready to hear my ideas and to bring me their ideas. And I want to do a special shout out to unanimously approved by the City Council last night, our new fire chief, Julie Oberg. Please stand up, Julie. I know that you already know that despite the challenges our city is facing, we're gaining notoriety across the country for being a great place to live and raise a family. Just 2 weeks ago, I did an interview with Forbes magazine because Spokane is being named a great place to retire. And I was proud to tell them about our excellent health care, educational opportunities, food, craft beverage, and art scene, our 113 miles of bikeways and greenways, our unparalleled opportunities for recreation and sports, and that 85% of us live within a 10-minute walk of a park. There are also recent media reports praising us regarding our forward-thinking approach to middle and affordable housing, our federal designation as a tech hub, and our new professional men's and women's soccer teams. We have strengths and advantages to celebrate and build on. And yet, over the last year, I knocked on more than 1,000 doors and spoke directly to people throughout our community. And I heard loud and clear that they not only want to double down on what's good about Spokane, but frankly, they want it to be better. People love our schools and parks and river and their own neighborhoods, but they want a higher degree of community safety, including traffic safety for bikers and pedestrians. They want a better response to property crimes. They want a more effective, both accountable and compassionate response to the unhoused population and to the drug crisis. And they are worried about the lack of affordable housing and childcare and the rising cost of living. As always, they want more good jobs so their kids and grandkids can have a good future here. I share those priorities, as I know you do, but in order to make sure I had it right on the right track, I asked nearly 100 people to serve on 5 transition committees to make short and long-term recommendations to my administration. These committees were made up of business owners, advocates, organizers, financial experts, public safety representatives, educators, and local leaders. I asked them to use their expertise, common sense, and lived experience to identify our challenges and opportunities and make recommendations within 5 key categories. I know that some of them are here today. If you participated in these committees, will you please stand so we can acknowledge you? Thank you. In your program, you'll see a QR code, and scanning that will direct you to a report that my team has compiled to send back to these transition committees with updates on the status of their recommendations. I only have time to touch on some of these today, and I want to start by highlighting some of the positive work done by our city team. Let's start with housing. The economist in me says we just simply have to build more housing supply at all levels. It's the #1 challenge facing our future quality of life in our community. So improving and expanding access to housing is a top priority. Our city has an incredible planning team, and we have good policy in place. I was pleased to take part in an award ceremony recently where we were named as recognized with a Smart Community Award for Spokane's approach to housing through the Building Opportunity and Choices for All program. Here's a brief clip that demonstrates how we're leading the way on middle housing.
The city passed an ordinance, Building Opportunity and Choices for All, that gives us some flexibility.
This is a pilot project, but in each neighborhood, there will be more capacity, more choices, and more affordable choices.
The Spokane City Council recently passed an ordinance that allows more flexibility for accessory dwelling units or ADUs.
It would allow townhomes and duplexes in every residential neighborhood.
We can cultivate more homeownership opportunities and more choices that reflect our community's many diverse lifestyles and affordability levels.
That's what we're trying to get back to do infill, to make walkable neighborhoods, that missing middle housing.
The building types that have been allowed by zoning for the past 75 to 100 years are detached single-family homes and mid-rise and high-rise apartment buildings. Missing middle housing can provide housing for more people. It can provide housing for more varieties of families at a more affordable price point. They look like a single-family home. From the outside, you usually can't tell that there's more than one unit in it. And so they really fit into these low-rise walkable neighborhoods seamlessly. And it can provide small business opportunities for people in our community.
Now we're seeing smaller builders come into this space, builders of different ethnic background.
We've applied for from the city and are going to build 2 additional fourplexes, 1 fourplex and 1 threeplex with an ADU, right? Now I have my home that I own, now I want to be an investor.
With these changes, we now have the opportunity to build an ADU in the back of our home, and we'll be able to live our dream, which is to have a multi-generational home where my kids can enjoy their grandmother, and also we can contribute to increasing the housing in Spokane and providing more density in our community.
I can give back to the community while also building generational wealth. We didn't see this coming, but once the opportunity came about, we jumped right on it.
If we could solve this, it would not only save our city, but it could also be a blueprint for the country, because this is something the entire country is experiencing.
What an opportunity for Spokane.
The work that Spokane is doing is really incredible.
Spokane right now is at the brink of becoming an amazing city.
And if we can dream it, we can probably do it.
Thank you to everyone who helped make that happen. Many in the private sector who advocated for it, and our team and city council member who voted for it. I'm happy to have inherited this positive policy framework. But I'm sure you're aware our housing market tightened more quickly and dramatically than almost any other market in the country in recent years. 5 years ago, 70% of employed people in our city could afford to buy a home here in Spokane. Now, less than 15% can afford a median home. At the recommendation of my transition committees, we want to partner with you on what one transition committee member called a moonshot housing plan. Because when folks can't buy a home, they move to the rental market, and we know that that in and of itself has tightened dramatically and prices have risen beyond the means of many people. So we want accelerated housing supply at all levels, and to admit what we're up against, the wind is blowing against us when it comes to interest rates and building costs. But I am confident we can make progress with what I'm calling the all of the above approach. That's the economics professor in me, A, B, C, D, E. A, continue to work on regulatory zoning issues. And I'm very proud that new Councilmember Klitsky is going to be a great partner in that effort. B, champion and strengthen incentives for private sector development. And I want to thank our legislators who have voted for incentives to convert surface parking and next office buildings to housing, and we have developers in this community that are taking advantage and doing just that. C, we need to be aggressive in gaining state and federal dollars for affordable housing, not pass up any opportunities to apply for those funds, and partner with established nonprofits and new ones. I want to give a shout out to Andrew Chance from the library and Mark Finney from Thrive for a really innovative partnership that is creating more housing in Spokane for some of our newest residents from Ukraine and other communities. A very exciting partnership that will bring new housing to them. D, we've got to create maximum leverage with our own local affordable housing fund. This fund was created by the City Council in 2019. It has $17 million in it. Nothing has happened with it yet in that amount of time. It was not deployed. But we're going to change that. Don Kinder's team is sending out a request for proposals in the next month, and we will be awarding those funds to build more housing, affordable housing in our community by fall. And E is easy, all of the above. We want this to culminate in more housing, especially in areas that are walkable and bikeable to our neighborhood business districts and to downtown. I want to share another brief clip with you so you can hear directly from people who love living downtown.
My name is Elijah Kroom, and I'm the executive chef here at Wild Sage Bistro. And I've been living downtown for almost 5 years. You walk down the street, I know 5 different people in my neighborhood that live in my building, that live in the building next to me, that work at various restaurants or bars around the block radius. It's a very community downtown.
Like there's so much going on right outside of these windows all the time. We've got the Bing and the Fox right over here, all the local theaters, all the restaurants, coffee shops, places to go right here. And this is where we live our life. Bella is 15 and she and her friends can go to the mall, go to a coffee shop, walk around downtown and safely, they know how to do it. We've talked about how to be safe. Hadley, who is 11 now, she loves to rollerblade around Riverfront Park and ice skate in the winter. I used to commute in the car. I would so much rather walk 2 blocks and even if it's freezing and raining and snowing, I would much rather walk 2 blocks. And the people who work in the restaurants will come out and say hi. And you just get to know people. And I found that everyone was really friendly and everyone who was down here wanted to create this sense of community for our part of downtown.
I think that it's important for downtown to be seen not just as a place to go shop, but also a place where people live. And I live here in the West End, and my office is in the Paulson Building, and I walk to work every day. I don't have to worry about parking. I like the wineries, I like the restaurants. I'm the biggest downtown booster there is.
I think the grocery store downtown, like the central downtown, would be game-changing.
So spend some time down here, get to know some people down here. You know, go out for dinner, take a walk in the park, and realize that it's maybe not as scary as it's made out to be.
No, we will be staying downtown Spokane. Like, we love living downtown. We want to make sure that everyone realizes how great it is to be down here.
I think downtown has a lot to offer. We have a lot of local businesses, restaurants, food, culture, music. I mean, it's literally everything you would ever want is going to be downtown, which is the heart of the city. Come down, take a look.
Downtown Spokane Partnership did not pay me to put that together, but they are a great partner. If you're building housing, if you've built housing in our community, if you're planning to build housing, if you have projects on to build, thank you. We all thank you, right? Thank you. One of the most polarizing issues our city has seen is how to address our growing population of unhoused people, not unconnected to the last thing we discussed, the shortage of affordable housing. During my second week in office, Spokane was hit with a days-long cold snap. Despite an ordinance by City Council requiring a plan, there was no plan beyond the Trent shelter and only a small amount of resources. I declared a state of emergency so we could expand surge capacity among our existing nonprofit providers, and we piloted a new scattered site model that we are going to use in the future. Several churches agreed to serve as temporary emergency warming centers for up to 20 people each, with nonprofits and volunteers coordinating transportation, meals, and security at the site. Despite needing to rebuild a housing team with significant turnover and vacancies, I want to say that our housing team has accomplished a lot. There's a set of things that I can, and I will reel off, but first I want to just talk about the philosophy. We are moving away from large congregate shelters. They are not successful for the people in them and their impact on the neighborhoods near them. We are moving away from a model that only responds to unhoused people when they are in crisis or a crime is being committed. We are moving away from cycling individuals into emergency rooms, and then they're released back onto the streets or into criminal justice facilities, and then they are released back onto the streets or into congregate shelters, and when they can't take it there anymore, they are back onto the streets. The model that we are moving toward is one in which first we coordinate and do outreach to the homeless population with providers who themselves are hiring people with lived experience who have been addicted or unhoused themselves, have gotten through to the other side, and are proven to be the most effective at communicating with people who are experiencing those challenges. And street medicine teams that in a coordinated fashion can address people's needs and help coordinate them, navigate them into services. Second, we will be launching a navigation center. Again, the idea here is that individuals will come and stay with their own space for a limited amount of time while they are assessed and navigated in coordination with our many nonprofit providers who provide different but very important services in our community, from serving specifically populations of women, youth, or families. Just to give you a sense of the things that have happened already to transition to this new model, Sarah Clement Sampson was hired on contract, and she has conducted a shelter audit, so we know what spaces we have, and those recommendations will be released in the next couple of weeks. We reached an agreement with the Washington Department of Transportation and the Department of Commerce to designate the Division Street corridor as a priority zone for campment resolution. That way, with this designation, it frees up additional funds that we can use. And the model that we are using is a contractor interviews people in the corridor and begins to navigate them to services. And the people who are not unhoused are probably not there for good purposes. And so through this process, we will be able to start to sort that out. We got a $1 million appropriation from the legislature for the street medicine approach. Again, teams of medical providers and peer navigators will be working to coordinate between the city's own homeless outreach team and providers like Providence and Chaz, who provide this type of service already. We've amended the contract with the Salvation Army at Trent, and we are downsizing. We've already reduced monthly costs there by 40%. Thank you to the legislature for a $4 million appropriation to facilitate the transition out of track. And finally, I want to announce that we've reached agreements with 2 major service providers in the Division Street corridor, one of our city's important gateways, and they have agreed to transition their services out of the Division Street corridor. To take on the complex intersection of homelessness with mental health, substance use disorder, and crime, I brought on Maggie Yates as Deputy City Administrator, and she is leading our Community Safety Work Group. And they have brought together already police, fire, housing, and homelessness, but also courts, judges, prosecutors, and defenders. You're going to see good things coming from this group, and as they move forward, they will be inviting in our partners regionally and beyond. But I'm grateful that this group has already made recommendations about how to spend some of our opioid settlement dollars. Council has recently agreed to invest $1 million of that fund in proven strategies to help those with substance use disorders. One half of this will go to the Spokane Fire Department's CARES team. This is a team that follows up after an emergency response of a person with a substance use disorder to navigate them into appropriate services so they're not back calling 911 again. The other half of these funds will go to a high utilizer and complex care initiative. There was already something like this that was happening in our community before, known as the Hot Spotter Initiative. It went away, we're bringing it back. We're also being innovative in the way we approach economic development. The #1 recommendation from my team was to embrace and support the Tech Hub Initiative. You've already heard about that from Alicia. And the next video details the great work being done with respect to that recommendation.
Spokane's new mayor is setting her sights on landing more high-tech jobs and industry in our area. That's because last October, the Biden-Harris administration selected Spokane to potentially serve as a new American aerospace tech hub.
It's very exciting because it means there's a focus here on what will potentially be more manufacturing jobs, likely more jobs in the aerospace supply chain for Spokane and for this region.
However, there are 30 other newly named high-tech regions competing for the same millions of dollars in federal grants that could help jumpstart Spokane's new aerospace hub.
And that's why today I'm signing an executive order directing a new economic development priority review policy that will take effect immediately.
That new policy calls for various City of Spokane departments to focus on streamlining the process of promoting rapid high-tech business development.
What is the role of local government? Local government has a key role with respect to permitting across the spectrum and delivering the infrastructure so that when the private sector investment is ready, we are ready.
Comm radios and data link are checked. Co-pilot.
Spokane started its checklist to be ready to take off as an aerospace technology hub several years ago, thanks to a group called the Inland Northwest Consortium. The consortium, initiated by Gonzaga University and in partnership with industry leaders like Boeing and Collins Aerospace, is ready to bring the former Triumph Composites plant back online as the new American Aerospace Materials Manufacturing Center.
And so this is a really key building out on the West Plains that's going to be doing a lot of the R&D and small parts manufacturing to hopefully get us off the ground and allow us to really continue to build this aviation and aerospace parts manufacturing industry in the region.
And there is still plenty of room to grow inside the boundaries of the West Plains Public Development Authority, along with easy access to interstate and railway shipping routes.
So this executive order shows that we're going to double down on our commitment to our city's economic development strategy, working to foster job creation, opportunities for employment, and continue to diversify our regional economy.
Spokane area leaders recognize the chance to catch a new wave of aerospace opportunities, and they've already launched several initiatives to make sure our region is a high-flying competitor.
I want to thank all the partners that are engaged in this in the private sector, in higher education, and both in this cluster, the aerospace cluster, but also in the health sciences cluster, in tech, and in clean energy. We have tremendous opportunities in this region, and when asked by GeekWire, are we going to pick just one of those? I said the answer is no. They're all significant, and they're all going to be economic drivers of our future regional economy. We also see economic vitality in downtown and our neighborhood business districts enhanced whenever we support small businesses, and a proactive approach to our arts, music, cultural activity, and special events. And some of our big ones are about to launch this weekend. I'm happy to have signed the family-friendly festivals ordinance. Thank you to council members Zappone and Dillon for that. And I also appointed members to our Tourism and Cultural Investment Committee. This was known as the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, but unfortunately the members had not been appointed. It's been dormant for over 2 years. So thank you, Council, for quickly confirming the appointees, and now they will begin issuing grants to support arts and cultural events in our neighborhoods. We've formed a Resilience and Sustainability Action Team led by Kelly Thomas to coordinate activities across city departments in saving water, reducing fossil fuel use, and planning for the future of our waste reduction system, and planning for the impacts of climate change. We are grateful to all the community partners who are helping with these efforts. Gonzaga University's Institute for Climate, Water, and the Environment, WSU Extension, the Lands Council, the River Keeper. Due to these partnerships, Spokane's Urban Forestry Program has received a $6 million grant to enhance our tree canopy, primarily in the economically disadvantaged and more heat-impacted areas of our city. So there's a lot going well in our city, but I need to be clear. Nothing is more important to our future than balancing our budget and not only sustaining, but increasing our investments in community safety. When I ran for mayor last year, I had a press conference outside City Hall talking about Spokane's major budget deficit. Matt Boston at the time worked for the city council. He's now our chief financial officer. He sounded the alarm in public meetings. Unfortunately, for 3 years, expenditures in the general fund exceeded revenues. New collective bargaining contracts were negotiated without revenue identified to cover the cost of living increases that were granted. And city reserves and one-time funds were used to temporarily cover the gap. In this year's budget, our debt service payment is postponed, and only 6 months worth of spending was identified to support our shelter system. There's no provision for future fleet needs of police and fire. So since 2019, the balance of our reserves went from 28 million to 7.6 million. Our general fund is comprised 65% by our police and fire departments, and that fund has a $25 million structural deficit. So consequently, our city's bond rating, our current services are in jeopardy. The number one recommendation of the transition committees was to eliminate the structural deficit and balance the long-term budget. We are making unilateral reductions in the budget, including renegotiating technology contracts and leaving positions vacant. My cabinet is taking 2 unpaid furlough days this year. Chief Oberg and I reluctantly agreed that we would cancel the fire academy that would have started this summer because we don't have funds identified to hire the recruits. We plan to suggest other reductions to City Council in a few weeks as part of the mid-year budget review. But I don't believe we can do this responsibly all on the cut side, especially as calls for service are up and we are a growing city. So my proposal is a levy lid lift of $1 per thousand in assessed value, which is estimated to be $31.42 per month for the median home of Spokane. If we pass it, we can bring back the academy that was postponed. We can meet critical fleet needs in police and fire. We can bring neighborhood resource officers to assist with chronic nuisance and property crimes in neighborhoods. We want to sustain the bike and foot patrol teams that Chief Lundgren is launching this summer in downtown, and we want to invest in equipment such as body-worn cameras and training that will improve safety for our officers and the public. In the face of increased wildfire threats in our wildland-urban interface, this city must plan for new fire stations to protect fast-growing neighborhoods like 5 Mile and Latah Valley and ensure our community centers are really ready as community resilience hubs that the public can use during power outages, extreme weather, and smoke events. So this levy is about improving safety, not only through police and fire, but through emergency management courts and safe street projects in every neighborhood. I recommended that the parks levy be delayed, and I have heard from City Council that they are willing to do that, and they voted for it last night, but they want to use a slice of this levy for our newly limited commission park rangers and to improve security in our parks, and I support them in that. It's hard to ask people to pay more for city services, especially when I know that 1/3 of our households are feeling economically challenged right now. But we've essentially been living on borrowed funds for 3 years, and this will not only balance our budget for the foreseeable future, but provide people with quicker response to crime and emergencies. So just again, the basic math is a $25 million deficit. The first year of this levy would generate $37 million, which means most of it would go to fill the hole, and $12 million approximately would be available for the enhanced services that I've mentioned. In addition to our community safety meetings that we are holding in conjunction with the hiring of a new police chief, we have held internal surveys of police and fire. 2 messages I would share with you. They asked, stop asking us to do more with less and ignore the politics and do what is right. I believe what is right for our community is investing in community safety and fiscal responsibility. And I ask you to join me in conveying that to your friends, neighbors, and coworkers. There are many other initiatives underway in the city. I don't have time to talk about all of them today. I do want to invite everybody to participate as much as you can in our upcoming Expo 74 50th celebration. It's going to be really exciting. Music, fun, a powwow, an environmental forum, and in the middle of all that, all of our signature Spokane events like Hoop Fest and Bloomsday. I want to give a shout out to STA for free fare on the weekends, region-wide, and reduced fare in a line around the park through the city that will make it easier for people to enjoy these festivities. So please join in the fun. And I could think of no better way to end this than, as people know, I'm a big music fan, have a turntable in my office now, and I want to close by inviting my friend and great local musician, Jason Garrett Evans, up here. He's going to play a couple songs as we head out the door. I want to thank you all for what you do to make Spokane better, and please join me as GSI has done in believing in this city and investing in it. Thank you.
So much. My name is Jason Garrett Evans. I'm a singer-songwriter here and musician here in Spokane, and I played at many local events here in Spokane for almost 6 years, including Mayor Lisa Brown's first inaugural State of the Address. Thank you so much for thinking of me, and I'm so happy to hear and support you. There's no limit to what we can do. There's no limit to what we can do together as a community if we all stick together and don't stop believing. So thank you. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere. Singer in a smoky room, smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share, it goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting down the boulevard, the shadows searching in the night. Street lights, people living just just to find emotion hiding somewhere in the night. Working hard to get my fill. Everybody wants a thrill. Playing hard to roll the dice just one more time. Some will limp, some will lose. Some will just sing the blues. Oh, the movie never ends. It's on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. The shadows searching in the night. Oh, don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Thank you. You said a couple. I was prepared for one, but I can do one more if you like. Just go for it? All right, all right. This is my favorite one. I'm a local musician here in Spokane. I play with Lisa's son here, and one of my favorite songs that I like to play by the Beatles is Come Together. So if I can get a little bit more on this little monitor down here, that would be great. Here come on flat top, he come grooving up slowly. He got juju wobbles, he walk holy roller. He got head down to his knees. Got to be a joker, he just do what he please. He ran no shoe shine, he got toe jam football. He want monkey finger, he shoot Coca-Cola. He said, I know you, and you know me. One thing is for certain, he just got to be free. Come together right now over me. He bad production, he got Warren's gumbo. He shoot on no sideboard. He want spinal cracker. He got feet down below his knees. Hold you in his armchair, you can feel his disease. Come together right now closer. He got early warning. He want muddy water. He want mojo filter. He said 1 and 1 is 3. Got to be good looking. He just so hard to see. Come together right now over me. Come together. Come together right now over me. Thank you.
One more big, big round of applause. Jason, that was amazing. Nothing beats live music. So it's just thank you so much. With that, we've come to the end. So let's give a big round of applause again to the mayor and to her team. Thank you. I close this. We talked about, the mayor covered a lot of really important opportunities and challenges that our community is facing. And the reality, the invitation to engage is very real. I just want to thank the mayor and her team. They've been incredible in the response around a lot of different conversations that we're engaging in. A big thank you with my colleague from DSP, Emily. Lots of important conversations. We think about continued the vibrancy of our community, both in the downtown and throughout, and the partnership that it takes with our city and our municipal partners across the region is really critical. So thank you to that. It would be, we talked a lot about downtown, which is where our offices are and central to any vibrant community. It is DSP Clean Week this week, and we did some litter cleanup yesterday. We've got, I think, opportunities still that they're looking for folks to help. And so if you want to be part of that, because this weekend we are kicking off Expo 50, and it is going to be awesome. 9 weeks of celebrating across this region. Something our organization was involved in from the very get-go in getting Expo here back in 1974. So be part. I hope to see you out. I'm excited. My daughter is one of the 7th graders in Spokane Public Schools that's down here right now, touring and learning about Expo 74 and all of the things that have been part of this community when we think about the culture, the growth, the people, our river. And so I just encourage all of you to look at the huge array of opportunities coming up over the next 9 weeks and bring yourselves, bring your family, bring your friends to all of the different opportunities to engage in celebrating all of the incredible things that this community has done together and will continue to do together as we move forward. So with that, I wish each of you a beautiful rest of the week. As you head out, don't forget to grab your little notebook for notes, ideas, or doodles. I'm a big doodler. And we do have a couple of opportunities coming up to continue conversations around AI, to continue, I know there's golfers in this room, so opportunities to make sure you get registered for that. So again, thank you all for what you do every day. Go out and make it a great day. Take care.